many of you know I don't watch the clips before we get started. And the reason is because I don't want you to think I'm prepping my wisdom when I respond to things ahead of time. I'm just pulling it from the dome. And some clips, like I'm always overwhelmed with how much I can do. There's just no way to fit it all in. It's just not possible. And but some clips, like I said, when I'm trying to figure out the audio, and this may be a little too loud out of the gate because some of the clips are vacillating today in volume for whatever reason. But some clips, I just roll forward to check the frame and make sure it's in position and what little like pre-work I can do because some of these things are all over the place. And they just make me laugh right away. Some of them just like crack me up. And it takes me a minute to like recover. Well, I'll show you. So I'm trying to put my clips together. And okay, so a couple things. One, Glenn Beck is trying to make the rounds. I don't know what the fuck he thinks he's selling. Oh God. But he's all on his own shows. So he's doing all these podcasts and stuff. They're trying to expand and good on you. I don't care. But this is Stu. This is the guy who's on his show. So now they're just taking turns being on each other's shows just as filler, right? Yes, Jimmy Glick looks pissed. And this is, of course, if you don't know, this is Action Suspenders Glenn Beck. Seriously, I think he's going to put out a paper doll set. But I always thought, and this is, my mistake. I always thought suspenders were to keep your pants up and not your waist from bursting out. This just looks miserable. Okay, let's break it down. And we don't want to room raid this too much, but this is on the Blaze Network. This is Stu's show on the Blaze Network. So so Stu, I'm gonna lose it. So Stu, for being Glenn Beck's sidekick, Stu gets his own show, and the show is called Stu Does America. Shit. Stu Does America. I mean, I'm like, Glenn's just fucking with him, right? This is so, yes. Stu, you can't spell stupid without him. Jesus. Look at that sign right there. Well, that's, and by the way, congratulations to whoever their go-to person is on Fiverr. Excellent logo. That doesn't like it was made with an app that does logos or anything. I'm sorry. Okay. But the part that gets me the most, please, just work with me on this. Hold on. I got to expand this so you can see. Is that he's got a city backdrop. Like Glenn Beck has this gigantic fucking space station with all these screens and everything around him is like, there's no way Glenn Beck's studio costs less than $500,000. What does Stu get? Stu gets I'm not going to chintz, and it's like a $3,000 desk. That's a piece of laminate on top of another piece of desk. That's something they overpaid for or found in one of Glenn's old studios that he had used, and then they just slapped Stu's logo on it. But look up behind Glenn. That's a curtain. They're just, and it's three panels, and they're all lit differently, and it's supposed to be a big skyline foldy fold. That I think it's like a giant room divider. That's what it looks like. See, there's like the hinge point in it where you room divide. Oh God, is it Gotham City? Yeah. But it's the same piece over and over again. Here, look. See the pointy tower right there? See the pointy tower right there? And then you can see the striations in the screen. So it's nylon. They like went to one of these it's an off the rack giant room divider thing. And they bought 3 of them and stuck them together. I don't know what the fuck. Anyways, I'm dying. And then they somehow managed to, bless his heart, Stu's wearing a suit. It's his show. He's got a coffee mug, a card, and a pen. He's pulling everything out of the David Letterman playbook. He's got a Kimmel suit on, black tie, and somehow manages to get Glenn Beck to sit in literally the most awkward and unflattering way possible. Jesus, it's terrible. It's just terrible. Yeah, there's no mic on the desk. They've got, more than likely, they got shotguns. He is missing the fake mic on the stage, but I think that's, he doesn't want people to miss his choice in ties. Where does Glenn Beck? I think he really does live in Utah. I think they're completely in literal veneers of talk shows. Exactly. Like, this looks like, remember, like, I got that little overlay that I was just dicking around with, like a fake talk show overlay that I had seen somewhere. It's on one of my other computers. It's on the Rode computer that I take with me. And it green screens you behind a desk. This is like the semi-high dollar version of that. It's just so bad. It's so bad. But Glenn is going around and like having these little philosophy. Yes, I'm channeling Flipper. I'm laughing so hard. Glenn Beck is having these little philosophy sessions on these other shows. This is where he's peddling himself as an intellectual. So he goes on podcasts and other people's shows, but no one would have him. So he's on Stu's show, and Stu can't say no because he's his boss. This is a non-consensual interview. If I worked there, I would report this interview to HR. Okay, the desk takes up a third of the shot. I know. I don't know why it's so big. No one does. It's hilarious. I guess it's to hide Stu. Okay, but let's see. This is Joe Biden will fundamentally transform America. This is it. This is one. And remember, this is their clip. They put this out. This is not, I didn't edit this in any way. Let's see if he actually stays on topic and actually is able to say anything remotely close to that other than that exact sentence.
So how much of this, because I think there's an ideological acceptance to what's happening.
All right, I'm bored already. I am. I'm bored already. This pretend talk show bullshit has gone too far.
It's like they want people to come across this border. I don't know that they want.
Can you turn our guest mic down until I'm done asking the question? It's Stu's show, mother.
The PR hassles of the way it's happening right now, though.
I don't think they care.
You don't think they care?
No, I don't think so. I don't think they care. I really don't think. I think he could be down in, approval rating of 10, and they wouldn't care. He's just going to keep pushing through.
This is fascinating, though, because this is the exact opposite of what we were sold.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I'm sorry, we? Who's we? Who is we? Did you vote for him, Stu? Stu, did you vote for him? By the way, congrats on slimming down. It must make Glenn very angry.
Joe Biden's history. Some would say he's actually a moderate. Now, he's not a moderate.
No, he's not.
However, what he...
Yeah, he is. Yes, he is. He's a moderate in that regard. And closer to what you would call a centrist in that he wants consensus. He's a consensusist, I would say. Moderate. To these guys, any priority that liberals or Democrats work on is far left no matter what. So
seemed to be was a guy who would float around whatever the middle of the Democratic Party was at that time. Like in the 90s, he was like, I'm going to pass a crime bill.
No,
is that how he spoke? Is that how he did? I'm going to pass a crime bill. Yeah, you're stealing some of Glenn's thunder, Stu.
Been convinced that he is going to be the guy that will fundamentally transform America.
Okay, there's the sentence. Okay, fundamentally transform America into what? Socialism. It's gonna be Marxist socialism. The coming.
He is. We will be a different nation from here on out.
Well, one would hope we could get over some of our racial issues and that kind of stuff and move forward in a way where everybody gets to be involved in the American experiment equally, as opposed to those people who are left behind in that regard. So if that's I don't know that that's a fundamental change. It in many ways, it's a fundamental change for those folks, but not in the system, actually. It's just the inclusivity of it would be the argument that you have the biggest problem with.
After his first 4 years, we will. And I think he...
How? Well, we'll be better educated, and we'll have broadband, even the red states. And we'll have a smart energy grid. And we'll have a pushback against cyber attacks that's equivalent to its threat. And we already have an alliance with Australia and the UK to push back on Chinese aggression in the Indo-Pacific region. And ending child poverty would be great.
Been convinced that in the
Why does Glenn Beck look like a can of biscuits that just burst open? Kevin, that's awesome. When you put you twist it a little bit and you're supposed to push the spoon against the side of the Don't. This is okay, here we go.
Run, he'll be remembered fondly. And he doesn't care what people say.
Damn the consequences.
Damn the consequences.
Yes, damn the consequences. If people in the short term think it's the wrong move, but he's remembered fondly in the long run by all Americans.
His activity on the border reminds me very closely as to his activity in Afghanistan, where he decided ideologically.
Say more. It makes you sound like you're really on top of things. Really, totally, bruh.
Yes, he wanted troops out of Afghanistan. Yes, he wants a more open border, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
no, those are not equal. No, he does not want a more open border in that way. No, we want a comprehensive immigration reform. We want the actual immigration system to work. The guy that's Stu. Stu is shit. Stu is Glenn's co-host, and so occasionally Glenn will force himself on his co-host.
What happens when you want those things, and then something goes wrong on the ground, you adjust, you move, you don't just press on. You're not Mao. You know what I mean? You don't just press through, tens of millions of people dying, right?
Unless you're trying to collapse.
Wait a minute. Press through to... How do we go from... Stu thinks Biden wants an open border, and that leads to tens of millions of people dying, and we just to press through.
System so it can be reset into something else. Think of what Barack Obama said yesterday on ABC. He didn't just say it was an open border policy that needs to be stopped. He said it's an open border policy that has to be stopped, and we've been having problems for a long time, and the whole system needs to be changed.
They need comprehensive immigration reform. Holy shit. Wait a minute. Should we get to this quote? Okay. Obama on border ABC. Shit. And this is oh my fucking God. Here's a Fox News article on this. Look at this. Hold on. This is Fox News's. And you know how I told you that the only people on television that you can find saying we have an open border are Republicans. Democrats are not saying we have an open border. We need to have a strong asylum program. We need to recognize how we can help migrants the most. And some will come in and lots of them won't. And nobody can, nobody's for rampant illegal immigration. Nobody's for open borders on the Democratic side. It's ridiculous. The Biden administration's been abundantly clear about this. Meanwhile, the only people who are on television saying we have open borders, come on in. The president has said, come on in to anybody. Anybody can come in. Only people saying that are Republicans. So look who's look at this article. This is from Fox. ABC excludes Obama's criticism of open borders from televised portion of interview. ABC instead focused on a portion of Obama's border comments on his criticism of Republicans over immigration reform. Let's see. This is the retry. Here you go. ABC cut out part of their own interview with Barack Obama where Obama said he opposed open borders and said it was unsustainable, which it is. And this is Newsbusters. They have the clip. Here it is. I guess this is it.
Days after the Biden administration cleared.
Hold on, it's loud.
Migrant camp, former President Obama defended his VP's handling of the border crisis, passing blame to the GOP.
Comprehensive immigration reform has consistently gotten stuck, partly because we can't get enough Republicans to support it.
But cut from that interview and published only in the online article was President Obama saying, quote, "At the same time, we're a nation state. We have borders. The idea that we can just have open borders is something that, as a practical matter, is unsustainable."
The 44th president also spoke in an interview about the immigration crisis, saying that Americans want to help others, but the idea that we can just have open borders is unsustainable. He said it's time Congress got serious about dealing with the immigration problem.
Right. And by the way, Glenn Beck is trying to turn that into, oh, that's Obama actually does want open borders. He just wants to change fundamentally what border means. He wants to take the B off and just make it order, as in New World. And look at the look on his face. Look at this douchebag. You just heard what the clip was, what they took out. And hold on, let me back up. Listen to his description.
He stopped. He said it's an open border policy that has to be stopped, and we've been having problems for a long time, and the whole system needs to be changed.
Is that he stopped? Is that what he said? Fox just showed that they cut the clip out where he was talking about open borders. When he said the open border issue, that wasn't included in the interview. It's not at all what he said. It's not even remotely close. And again, this goes to the there's bees. There's a few bees around my car. Can I hide in your house because I'm allergic to bees? I'm going to call somebody. Or can you go out with a hose and hose them down so I can drive home? It's really scaring me. Sure, come on in. Versus my car is covered in tens of billions of bees. They're all after me. Once you stay on the porch while I call the police, you're a lunatic. You have to keep your lies manageable, Glenn. Nobody's buying your bullshit.
Right. So is that
right? No, not right. Not even close to fucking right. Don't say right, Stu. Stu, you are supposedly a religious man, as is Glenn. You are both currently, for the record, bearing false witness.
right? So is that really what they're doing here?
I think so.
Do they?
I mean, Stu.
I think so. No, you don't. Is Glenn wearing a black fanny pack belt? No. Nope. That's nature's fanny pack. That's from the Fupa line.
Look at what we talked about on banking today on the radio show. What is that?
Yeah, he just wasn't done. What is that?
That is positively going to put your local bank out of business. We're talking about a new thing that the president said he wants tabs kept on people that put $600 or move $600 out of their account, their banking account. Every transaction will be monitored by the federal government.
No, it won't. It's not about transactions. It's about the accounts themselves. If there's more than $600 that goes in or out of the account, it'll say so. And it's a Treasury Department decision. It was $1,500. These people were like sliding money out and by creating accounts and disappearing accounts and creating accounts and disappearing accounts. And they were doing it over and over. And so they lowered it to $600 to catch those people. Nobody gives a rat's ass. And it doesn't check the it's not any transaction that's $600. It's the singular account. It just means it's an active account with more than $600 in it at any given time.
Absolutely against the Fourth Amendment. But that will...
Only because you are making it up. The president yesterday in his desire to get everyone to wear masks, wants to take his hand and put it over everyone's mouth and nose and hold it there, which is absolutely against the law.
Put the small bank out of business, which will only make the big banks bigger and too big to fail. Instead of shoring up diversity and making sure that the banking
Yes, because Glenn Beck is concerned about diversity.
system has a lot of different stops to it, they're putting all of their eggs into the Fed. And they know that. They know that. They know exactly what they're doing. And they're taking away anybody that can stop them on the new reset.
So explain.
By the way, that's what he's been selling is the Great Reset, and which is now, I guess, the new reset. It's the neo reset. It's the quasi reset. We don't know
Why Joe Biden is the guy that should be doing this in their mind. Because if you think about Biden for a second, you have a guy who, yes, he is a liberal. Yes, he's believed these things. But he was supposed to be the pragmatic option, right? The guy who's going to bring normalcy back. And over again, he seems to be a supremely ideological guy. Here's a guy who got into the White House, I think, by ignoring crazy left-wing Twitter and pushing back against it.
All an act. All an act. All an act.
It was an all an act. It was an all, and that's why, I mean, Bernie was just a front. Bernie just threw himself in front of the bus for the true Maoist. Oh God. I mean, we know they're clowning, and it's got to be this way, and it has to be this masterful dodge and all this kind. And by the way, they're setting up this concept that Biden himself is, it was always just a trick. He was playing the pragmatic card, but man, it's like it's masterfully. He managed to outmaneuver Warren and Sanders and got the whole thing, and then it was a trick to get in the White House so he could be even further left than they are, which he isn't. And I mean, we've seen it again and again and again. It's what got him elected, and we'll say it. But they also want you to believe, there's another article on Glenn's site that says, is Biden's fascination with ice cream a sign of dementia? I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Glenn Beck's fixation on dessert might be an issue.
I mean, everything he said was an act. He's not doing any of that. He's not bringing us back. He's not bringing us back together. He's not a uniter.
Yeah, but he's not responsible for people who are obstinate and will not serve under, that view Trump as a dictator that they will serve under no other. There is no out there for those folks. You can't unite with it. That's on them. Eventually, they'll come around, is the thinking, once they realize that you're not their enemy, but they're basically a feral house cat at this point. We're uniting with feral house cats. It's going to take a lot of food and petting. Ew. So, well, here we go.
All the things that he said he would do, he's not doing. I think
we're out of Afghanistan, fucko. Out. Trump ran on that, didn't do it. Biden ran on it, did it. $2,000 checks, did it. Rescue package, biggest in history, did it. Passed an infrastructure bill, Trump never could. And it'll get through. It's going to get completely signed and everything. It will, within the first year, it's going to get done in the next few weeks. Period.
People misunderstand the intoxicating power of, you are going to be remembered as the man who fixed America, healed the planet, changed us fundamentally, and got
more words that Glenn Beck will never hear, even in jest.
It's ready for the next century. You will forever be in the category of George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, FDR.
But
and is that not how people talk to Trump? What are you talking about in terms of like the intoxicating nature? There's nobody in Trump's circle who didn't talk to him like that. Didn't say that, stayed for very long. They were all fired.
Barack Obama has a profile that would indicate to me he would do those types of things. He was a community organizer. He was hanging out
He's
with
black.
Was
professors. Is that it?
I really believe
I think
that
might be part
his
of it.
his son that he actually believed in and actually had some integrity, I guess, died. So he doesn't have a son to carry on the Biden name. His other son is a complete and total screw up.
Yeah.
You want to be remembered as the guy who lost election after election after election and with a son that was a screw up? Or do you want, and your family embezzled and committed treason against the United
By no means did either of those things.
States with China and other places?
And by the
No.
way, Glenn, you're a complete fuck up. I've met Glenn Beck. I met him at Politicon. He's a liar. And to mess with somebody dealing with addiction like that and to go, Biden should sue his ass. He won't because he doesn't matter.
No.
Barack Obama had 60 senators, not 50, 60. He could pass these things without all the tricks that they're trying to do now. And yes, he passed.
Because they don't have them now. And Biden wasn't president. Obama was.
Some
But
stuff.
that's what Obama said in his book was the problem. He learned pass it all in the first 2 years because you won't have a chance to do it. Pass it all in the first 2 years. Think of the price that we're going to pay 2 years down the road. I said today.
For not acting as legitimate political opposition and developing, and through argument and going through committee, bills and laws that could pass both houses and stuff. But through your obstinance, a Democratic president, especially the first black one, recognizing that the Republicans will do everything they can. You're going to lose more than likely, statistically. If you have the House, you'll lose it in the midterms. So you have to act as if. Now, you could, and that party, especially when it's the Republican Party, will simply stand as a wall against anything you want to accomplish. That they will not negotiate in good faith. And even when they do have a negotiation, they will lie and say, we'll give you the votes if you put in these amendments or we do the thing. Then you give them the amendments and they still don't vote for it. That's why he learned that. That's why he knew that. And that's why Biden isn't falling for this right-wing bullshit right now.
You'll see $5, $6, maybe even $10 gasoline before this president is out of office. Okay, think of the price. Think of the 8% inflation. I think that's a dream come true compared to what it's going to be. 8%.
Yeah, just make it up. Just, why? If you're going to say 8, why not say 12? I mean, you're saying we're Venezuela. There's no, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's talking out of his ass.
And inflation. Consider what happens when we have terrorist strikes because of the border and Afghanistan.
Mm-hmm.
Do you realize the price we're going to pay?
For letting brown people anywhere near this place?
They have to have all of this stuff passed. They have to control it. They have to have it passed so they'll never lose an election again. They have to have it. That's why.
Well, wait a minute. If you passed all this stuff in the first 2 years and it was unpopular and it didn't actually work, and I guess maybe he's talking about the voting rights bill, but that doesn't look like it's going to get through anyways. Not by the end of the year. But the idea is that he's going to the rigged election zone of talking points. But if they're that unpopular, and the people who are coming across the border, if the plan is to get, build more voters because they're coming across the border, they can't vote for 10 years anyways. So it legitimately, and even he's not making the case that, the Democrats are bringing these people over so they can vote illegally, that they're going to make them citizens and over time fundamentally transform the structure of America is what he's saying the goal is. Why wouldn't they be voted out if we had 8% inflation and $10 a gallon gasoline? How is that not going? I mean, why would, if past is prologue, why would that never, why wouldn't that be an absolute exit?
All of the voting stuff is in this reconciliation bill.
It does seem like a lot of that. And you went over some of that.
No, it is not. All of the voting stuff is not in the reconciliation bill. What? The John Lewis Voting Rights Act is a completely different bill. What the fuck are you talking about? You can't pass it with reconciliation. You cannot. You can't pass voting rights stuff under reconciliation. It's completely budget related. You can't.
Earlier. Haven't we taught them some of these lessons, though? If you think of the lessons that even conservatives have taught, yeah, we fought you on Obamacare, but now it's through and we're done. We're done fighting on that because you won and now it's...
For a moment there, I thought he was saying we taught them the dirty tricks or whatever. But what he's saying is, didn't we teach them by just rolling over? That's what we taught them, is that whatever you want to do, we're just going to lay back and take it.
It's forever. We tend to do these types of things. Our voters, right-wing voters, do this too. They start loving these programs. Test the population.
Oh, it's gross, isn't it? They start loving these programs. They love not having their grandparents eat cat food rather than miss their medications.
Of the LBJ programs with Republicans, 80 and 90% approval. I mean, we have a very short attention span when it comes to pushing back against free stuff. And they know that.
What's free about it, fucko? You pay taxes. It's equally applied. What do you mean?
Currently working on a piece with a powerful member of the House or Senate, and
one or the other. I can't remember which, but one of them, House or Senate, probably both.
And hopefully, we're going to be introducing it real soon. And it is a restatement of our principles. And any Republican,
yes, Glenn Beck is finally going to deliver the new contract with America. It's going to be Glenn Beck and Jim Jordan. Glenn Beck and Jim Jordan production as Matt Gaetz presents the Contract on America 2.
And on it, because it is truly only the restatement of the Bill of Rights. That's it.
Oh, that should be easy to whip out then. Just copy and paste, I suppose. Shit.
And if you won't sign up on it, there's a problem.
Is there? Are you threatening me?
And there are a lot of things that we can disagree on, but we will never stop fighting on these things. And
ew. Just a weird gesture, and it looks like he's pushing Stu's head in his lap. It's wrong.
Anything that frays these points from the Bill of Rights.
These points? Yeah, that phrase, that great... Tell us again, Glenn. Fuck. This is someone... Please tell me everyone in the chat room is humming the national anthem.
That frays these points from the Bill of Rights, we will stand against.
What? Hang on. What the fuck? What did you just say?
There are a lot of things that we can disagree on, but we will never stop fighting on these things. And anything that frays these points from the Bill of Rights, we will stand.
Oh, anything that frays these, as in frays like a rope, like frayed. Fraying or flailed off, anything that Euros off these elements of the Bill of Rights,
against.
We will be against. He's against the fray. What did the old rope said when it was asked? I forget. Like, if he knew the way to the frayer, he said, "I'm afraid not."
Points from the Bill of Rights, we will stand against.
And by the way, This is all this fucking bullshit machismo. It's the same, for all the yammering about toxic masculinity, boy, do these assholes on the left and right love to fight and stand up. I'm a human erection for my ideals. And none of it is true. What he means, we're going to stand up, which means he's going to do the same shit he does every day, talking to the same bleach white microphone in his little space station and make up shit that is literally counter to clips that he plays on the air. Like, he'll play a clip and go, "Did you hear him just say what he said? It's the opposite of what I'm going to say," he said. Fuck. What a chump.